Hello, you Monday Melto Munchers. Or is that Malto Munchers? Sorry, it's Malto Munchers, not Melto Munchers. And thank you to Groovy 2 and You for that malt mention. Well, hello, Pat Pals and Malt Mates. I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel called Ralphie.com. If you've not subscribed and you're into your whiskey and other quality spirits, please do so that you get informed about my reviews. Talking of which, I have a review right now for you. Review number 1040. And it's part of a series that I'm doing in the summer of 2024 on auction purchased whiskies. These are whiskies which I haven't purchased from a high street or online retailer. I've actually gone to an online auction site and I've bid on them, and I've been successful in my bid. So here they are, posted to me through the mail, and now I'm reviewing them. This I bought at Scotch Whisky Auctions, which is a Glasgow-based online auction house. There's quite a number there available to you in terms of online auctions, and I have to say, I prefer them for their more contemporary attitude and practicality compared to traditional auction houses, where I have noticed over the years a considerable attitude of entitlement as regards people for bidding for whiskies and other spirits. And I'm going to be careful what I say here, because I have to be careful what I say here. I'm not naming any auction houses, but in my opinion, I have noticed over the years what appears to me to be a little bit of jiggery-pokery relating to bids at traditional auction venues. There you have it. If you want to know more, I would recommend you read a book. It's a book based on factual events in the 1980s, 1990s, and it's called The Billionaire's Vinegar. That's easy to remember. Just do a search for it. You'll find it on Amazon, I'm sure. It's a damn good read, and it tells you about the shenanigans in certain wine auctions, including the fact that an actual French winemaker went to a high-end prestigious auction wine event and actually stood up during the auction and decried some of the lots as being fake and not from his own vineyard. How very dramatic. You know, it'd have been lovely to be the fly on the wall there to witness the drama of that. So, you know, these things do happen, so please keep it grounded and practical, and be aware, let's pour some whiskey here, and be aware when you're dealing with auctions that there's a certain self-defense protocol that's required. In fact, I'm going to cover that in my next review, 1040 Extras. I'm going to talk a bit more about my practical advice if you're bidding at auction. What are you looking for? What are you looking at? Right? In the meantime, why did I buy Black Friday 22-year-old Speyside Distillery from a Speyside Distillery, and there's plenty to choose from there. Single malt, bottled at 49.2%. And what's this bottle all about? You've probably, to be honest, never ever seen this. In fact, it's part of a series of bottlings, which is quite a discreet marketing ploy by a major London-based online whisky retailer. And basically, the whole Black Friday shopping frenzy, can I call it a frenzy? Yeah, why not? That's what it is. A consumer frenzy, very much encouraged by the people in power, because every time people spend, they deliver taxes. This is what we want to understand. When people are consuming, people are paying taxes. at every step of their consumption. So the Black Friday idea is launched really by Amazon to intimate in a very recognisable little word pairing that it's October, November, and there's going to be massive discounts at the highest spending time of the year globally. And that people should jump in and look for all these special discounts and special offers. And there will be a few, but not that many, because people are habitual and careless shoppers that tend to just go along with the crowd. That's it. So this major online retailer, to kind of jump in a little bit and encourage people to think about buying whiskey, brought out a bottle, very good value. You can still buy this from retailers for about £170. But it's sold out because the original price was good. It's damn good whiskey. In fact, I'm really looking forward to giving this a nice, positive, all good review, because it's important for you that you get these kind of reviews, to be honest. Because now and again I can get quite negative. And there's a reason for that. I have to be. I have to call it as it is. And if it means being negative, so be it. I'm done with the sugar coating. The sugar coatings the currency's not there anymore. There's less goodwill than there used to be. We're looking for treasure. We're looking for bang for our buck. And it's these sort of bottlings that you see at auction, you say it's not collectible. Nobody's going to be really interested because it's not even a named distillery. It's basically one of these kind of special deal, seasonally offered things. It's good whiskey, but to some people that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what the quality of whiskey is. How about the branding? And that'll put people off bidding for it, particularly if there's any scratches in the labels or dunts in the scratches in the glass or dents in the cork or whatever. And this means it could be available at a very good price. So what have we got here? We've got one of 1,800 bottles, so quite a limited edition, but not too limited. This is the 2021 edition, and they've been doing these annual editions for about 7 or 8, probably about 9 years now, actually. And this is clean, crystal clear, grassy, fragrant, hay, grain, summer field, orchardy, summertime, wonderfully almost enigmatic on the nose. It's not initially easy to place an age on it. You know that it's been really well matured. And I'll tell you why, because this is a small collection of older casks that have not been given any finishes. There's no messing around. There's no tarting things up to get that big sherry overcoat. This is a real old school whiskey, the likes of which I used to buy very easily from Cadenheads and Gordon and MacPhail back in the 1990s. But they're a lot harder to find now. But they're still there. It has a growing sweet, almost elderflower, distinctive elderflower note on the nose. It's this summer blossom, gentle, think summer days, you're in a field, there's an old copse of trees with elderflower in it, there's a peach orchard in the distance, there's a little bit of a peach note coming off the nose as well. It's rich but soft and gentle. This is a malt of contrasts which help us in the comparison. You've got the intensity of the floral nose, but you've got the softness and subtlety of the peach notes, the slight banana grapefruit notes in the background, and as you just nose it a little bit more, give it a bit more time in the glass, this elegant, precise and wonderful heartwarming note of elderflower starts to surface. On the nose alone, this is an absolute beauty. It's an absolute joy. And even before I taste this, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. And furthermore, wait till you hear what I paid for it. I'm loving that as well. Taste. Sharp. Bitter. Astringent. Tangy. Slight chili note. But not harsh. It's the sourness as well. The grain sour is so immediate and so youthful and so fresh. What we have are primarily ex-bourbon casks, refill ex-bourbon casks that have done a long, slow, lingering job of taming a bright, vivacious, youthful, unpeated, grain-rich single malt. I mean, Tam Lavaulin jumps out, by the way, to me. It reminds me a little bit of an old blend called Bailey Nickel Jarvie, which was a great bitter blend that's no longer fashionable because it's too bitter for the sanitised palates of your modern average consumer. I've added 5 millilitres of water. It's going to make a significant difference. It won't do it quickly. It will take its time, but gradually the nose will, excuse the pun, it'll start to blossom. And the joy continues. And I've had 4 glasses out this bottle, and every time I've been getting something new, I've been getting something more, I've been getting overall the most sublime, gentle, characterful delivery of a really old school, soft-styled, Speyside single malt, of which I remember with such fond affection from many years. In fact, it's not just years ago, malt mates, it's decades ago. I remember tasting whiskies like this in the 1980s and being absolutely enchanted and captivated in my whisky journey in a quiet summer night in my front room with the windows open and the sound of the Glasgow streets gently wafting up on a rare warm summer breeze before the arrival of yet another rain shower. And this is the kind of whisky I was drinking, and this is the whisky I would drink as the sun set down in the west, as it cleared the sky in its final orange glow. And this is probably one reason. It's that connection, the vitality of the memory of that experience that it's just an absolute joy to rediscover it all these years later. Back to the taste, back to the smell. Now we're getting some old casks. We're getting that, what they call the bookcase, the old book's nose. It brings beautiful complexity without disturbing in any way the freshness and vitality of the preserved youthfulness of this whisky. And this is why it's an enigma. At 22 years old, I'm tasting 10-year-old single malt and 30-year-old single malt meeting in the middle. It's like the youthfulness of a 10-year-old spirit, but the maturity and the elegance and complexity of a 30-year-old cask. Again, this nose could hold me for hours. This is an absolute joy. Having added water, and you don't need much, the bitterness is greatly subdued and left with the most sublime grapefruit and bitter melon zestiness and zing. The chamomile is there, the elderflower is there, the soft peach is there. There's so many little gentle yellow and green fruits going on. I even noticed some guava, mild soft guava in it, all enfolded and encased and surrounded by the beautiful graininess of the malted barley biscuity note, that sort of the cereal note, the complex intact cereal note. What a joy. What a joy. Now you're wondering what the malt mark is, aren't you? Oh my goodness. It's a while since yeah. It's a good mark. 88 out of 100. Now, I hear you asking the question, hey Ralphie, what did you pay for that bottle? Because you've already been online to see if you can buy it, and you'll find some retailers are selling it for £170. I bought this at auction. £70. £70. That's pre-tax, by the way, so add the 20%, it's another £14, £84. £84. That's what you call a bargain. An absolute bargain. And this is one reason why we go to auctions. And I feel for you if you're in the United States of America, because you're in the land of the free. You're in the land of commerce. You're in the land of big business and, deregulation. And yet the alcohol laws from state to state are absolutely, in my opinion, just my opinion, absurd. Absolutely absurd. The inhibitions, the limitations, the obstructions and everything is all down to the historical legacy of prohibition, which was funded by the oil companies. Standard Oil funded all that to get rid of the rival fuel to petrol. That's what it was all about. And if you think it's conspiracy theory, good luck to you. But let me just conclude by saying conspiracies really do actually happen, and we have to theorise about them to separate the completely plausible and factual from the ones that are just totally made up as a decoy, a distraction, and entertainment. Simple as that. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Can I just tell you, I certainly have. Sitting here in a bothy with this sort of whiskey. I wait a while for these. You see, I review standard ordinary whiskies. I buy them to tell you about them because it's your sponsorship, watching the ads and watching my content and clicking in the ads, or being a Patreon subscriber, where I get most of my budget from, that it lets me go out and buy these whiskies and then tell you all about them. Just share the practicality of the journey to help you shortcut yours so you can get to where you're going a lot faster than it's taken me. That's the purpose. That's the mission statement. So, but more mission statement just along shortly. In Ralphie Review 1040X, I'll be telling you more about auctions. What to look for at auctions, how to prepare for auctions, how to budget for auctions, and how to have alarm bells ringing when you see something that's not quite right, because that can happen. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.